In this lesson, we will be extending our knowledge of friendly division or ladder division to look at 4-digit dividends and remainders. So our first question that we're going to look at is 2,184 divided by 4. Since 4 is our divisor, we need to think about friendly numbers for 4. Okay, remember the friendly part about friendly division is that I can use any of these friendly numbers that I want. However, I like to be the most efficient in my use of my time, so I'm going to go Price is Right style and go the biggest number that I can find without going over my dividend. So when I look down the list, I see 400, 800, 1200, 1600, 2,000, still good there. 2,400, too big. It's bigger than my dividend, so I'm going to stick with 2,000. So I'm going to subtract 2,000 here. And remember, anytime I put a minus sign over on the other side of the stick coming down, I need to put what I multiplied times the divisor to get this dividend. This is my partial quotient. So I know 4 times 5 is 20, plus these two extras, that would make 500. 500 times 4 is 2,000. So over here to the side, I'm going to write, oh, not 2,000, sorry. I'm going to write 500. That's my partial quotient. Now I can subtract the 2,000 from the 2,184, and that leaves me with 184. Now I look down my friendly numbers list, and I know that I'm probably, let's see, the smallest 3-digit number I have is 400. So I'm just going to look at the pretend these zeros aren't here, and look at the pink and green part. So I have 40, 80, 120, I can still keep going, 160, 200. Oops, too far. So I'm going to go with 160 because that's friendly for 4 and it doesn't go over the 184. So I put 160 here. And because there's the minus sign, I have to put my partial quotient. I know that 16 divided by 4 is 4, plus this 0 makes 40. Then I subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4. 8 minus 6 is 2. 1 minus 1 is nothing. Now I'm back to looking at my friendly numbers list, looking for another friendly number that will work here, and I see that 24 is friendly for 4. So I can subtract 24. Anytime I subtract, I have to put a partial quotient. I know that 4 times 6 is 24, so my partial quotient will be 6. Then when I subtract, I'm left with a 0. That means there is no remainder. This 0 means no remainder. Now I take my partial quotients and I add them together, and I get 546. Then to check my work, I come over and I take the 546 that I got for my quotient. I multiply it times my divisor 4 to see if I get the dividend that I started with. 4 times 6 is 24. 2 goes up, 4 goes down. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 more is 18. 1 goes up, 8 goes down. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. 1, 2, 3, comma me. 2,184. That is exactly what I started with up here. So that means I'm ready to write my quotient in the answer space up on the rooftop. So 2,184 divided by 4 equals 546. 5 needs to go above the hundreds place of the dividend, which is the 1. So I make sure to line those up. The 4 is in the tens place above the 8. And then the 6 is in the ones place above the 4. So I am done with that problem. Okay, here we have another example. 2,549 divided by 3. If I'm dividing by 3, I need to look at my friendly for 3 list. Okay, here I have my friendly for 3 list. And I start, remember friendly division, I could use any of these friendly numbers that I want, but I like to make the best use of my time. So I'm going to start by looking at the 4-digit number that comes closest to, without going over, 2,549. So I start looking down the list. 1,200, that works. 1,500, 1,800, 2,100, 2,400, getting closer. 2,700, too far. I'm going to have to stick with 2,400. So I write that down below. And of course, anytime I have a minus sign, I have to write my partial quotient out to the side over here. So I know that 24 divided by 3 is 8, because 8 times 3 is 24. Then I take the 2 zeros and tack them on to the end. So 3 times 800 is 2,400, or 2,400. Then I'm ready to subtract. 9 minus 0 is 9. 4 minus 0 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. And 2 minus 2 is nothing. Now I have a new dividend. So now I'm looking for a new friendly number that is closest to 149 without going over. So I look down my list, and I know that I don't need the zeros on the end anymore. I can look, though, at the 30, 60, 90, 120, getting closer. 150 is too much. So I'm going to stick with 120. Write that down. Of course, anytime I write a minus sign, I must write a partial quotient. 120, 12 divided by 3 is 4, plus this 0 makes 40. 40 times 3 is 120. 40 plus 40 is 80, plus another 40 is 120. I have my partial quotient. I'm now ready to subtract over here. So 9 minus 0 is 9. 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay, I'm ready to look for more friendly numbers. Friendly for 3. So I start looking over here. And I see 21, 24, 27 is getting close. 30 is too big, so let's stick with 27. So I subtract 27. Anytime I subtract, I must come over here and write my partial product. 27 divided by 3 equals 9, because 9 times 3 is 27. Then I can subtract. 9 minus 7 is 2. 2 minus 2 is nothing. Then I have to think. This is where the thinking is required. I'm left with 2 here. Is 2 big enough for me to take a group of 3 out of it? If I had 2 apples, could I make a group of 3? No. So what I have here is 2 is my remainder. The remainder just means it's the part that's left over. It shows that 2,549 is not evenly divisible by 3. So we'll get to how to record that in just a moment. But as long as this number that's left is less than the divisor, then it's a remainder. If it's equal to the divisor, I can take another group. If it's more than the divisor, I can find a friendly number and take a group. Let me add up my partial quotients over on the side. 800 plus 40 plus 9 equals 849. Oops. Make that into a 9. Check my work by taking 849, multiplying it by 3. That's my divisor. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 2 more is 14. 1 goes up, 4 goes down. 3 times 8 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. And you look and you go, but Miss Scott, you didn't get the same answer here as you started with. Ah, that's because we need to add in our remainder. The remainder was part of this whole to start with, but we've not added it in over here. So we're going to take the 2 and add it to this group, which gives us 2,549, which is exactly what we started with over here. So now we know that we are ready to write in our quotient. 8 in the hundreds place, 4 in the tens place, 9 in the ones place. Then we need to take this remainder and record it up here. Your answer is not complete unless you have recorded the remainder. And the way we do that is we put a little lowercase r and then the number that we were left with. So the way we would read this is 2,549 divided by 3 equals 849 remainder 2. Don't forget the remainder 2. That is a critical part. So this has been a lesson on using friendly division for 4-digit dividends, and we looked quickly at how to put in a remainder. This is a good step before we get to the traditional long division algorithm.